Hey YouTube, Hello Bella here. This video is going to be about how I lost 57 pounds and then gained it all back in a matter of 5 years. So this video is really personal to make, so hopefully if you watch it, you are getting something out of it. I didn't really want to make this, but I feel like it may be kind of therapeutic to make it in a way. I've known for several years that my weight was creeping back up, and I sort of just felt like I did not have control over it. But I want to go back to the beginning and tell you about how I lost the weight, how I kept it off for a while, and how it slowly started to creep back up. So I have always been fat like my entire life, and when I was in high school, I was at my heaviest weight. I was at 189 pounds, and I was looking really bad, feeling really bad. I was very unhealthy, and I literally did nothing like physical activity wise. I just kind of sat around on the couch and drank like Mountain Dews and ate chips. So I was really unhealthy. So something in my head clicked in my senior year of high school, and I began to start slowly losing weight by counting calories. So I had a pretty obsessive diet back then. I would count calories and eat around 1,400 to 1,200 calories a day, and the weight started falling off of me. It was literally like I was becoming a different person. Everyone started telling me that I looked better. Everyone was starting to be nicer to me. People were like giving me compliments for doing that, and they were basically just like shining all this positive attention on me. And so it really started to weave its way into my self-confidence. And I was thinking, yes, people are finally noticing me. People are finally being nice to me. Like, this is good. This is like where I want to be. This is how I want to go to college and look better. And so this started the journey of me being completely obsessed with calories and food. Now, I just want to stop right here and say that calories and food are fine. That's fine to keep watch of everything, but I became completely obsessed with it. I was not aware of how obsessed with it I was until after I stopped doing it, and that's when I gained the weight back. But in a way, I'm sort of glad that I stopped doing it, because it was one of those things that I was absolutely obsessed with it in every way. Like, I wouldn't go eat at a friend's house because I couldn't count the calories in the food that they served. I didn't really want to go out to eat because I couldn't count the calories there, or they might put more calories in it than what they said they did. I couldn't really have snacks. I was just have to plan every single aspect of my food eating. Sometimes I would wake up in the morning and log everything that I had planned to eat throughout the day, and then I wouldn't go steer away from that at all. So in 2015, I reached my lowest weight, which was 132 pounds. I hovered around 130 to 132, and at this point, I was the skinniest that I've ever been. I will put a picture of it up here because it doesn't look anything like me now. I guess it kind of does in a way, but I still feel like I look okay. I took a video of myself just showing my body now, and I kind of feel like I look fine, but at the same time, I know that like physically I'm unhealthy because I'm obese, because I weigh too much for my height. I'm only 5 foot tall, and I'm currently weighing around 189 pounds again. So it's kind of tough to start back from ground zero. And this video is not to shame myself or anything like that. It's really just to kind of show that you can gain the weight back pretty quickly. This has been over the span of 5 years, and I was one of those people who said like, oh, that's never going to happen to me. I'm never going to get back to where I was. I'm never going to look like that again. I'm never going to do this to my body. I am not going to be one of those people who gains their weight back. And it just happened. It's not something that I really had a lot of control over. I just sort of slipped into some negative patterns over time. And it's kind of funny how you don't realize it while it's happening, but then once it's happened, you're like, oh man, yeah, I can see it now that I look back at it. It's very clear. But at the time, I couldn't see it that clearly. So from 2015, I was 132 pounds, and then in 2016, I went back up to 145 pounds. So I think what happened in 2016 was I wasn't working out as vigorously, and I was starting to drink more. I think I had turned 21, 22 around this time, and I was starting to drink a lot more. It was just something that was sort of in my life more because I was going out with friends and having a good time, and I didn't want to feel like I was the person who was always like saying no to everything. So I slowly started to have some pretty negative habits. So then in 2017, I started traveling, and I traveled so much this particular year. I went to Italy to see my mom, and I traveled to Yellowstone National Park. So I was all over the place traveling this time, and I was kind of thinking like back on it, and I was like, you know what, this is kind of something that I need to enjoy. I need to enjoy this season of my life. Like, when am I going to get to go to Italy again and eat like this? So I kind of really relaxed, and I let loose, and I didn't worry so much about food. And I actually even started exploring things like body positivity, and I still think that body positivity is a good thing, but also I think it's kind of toxic in a lot of ways because it's telling girls and women that it's okay to be morbidly obese, and it's really not. I don't think it is. I don't particularly feel too good right now in my body. I know my body is too big. I'm not really ashamed of it, but I just feel like my body is a reflection of like me and how I treat it, and I haven't been treating it very well. So I think it's important to realize that and be like, okay, you need to reel it in. Like what is causing you to do this? What is causing you to act like this? And I think that a lot of us who are overweight for our whole entire lives, we definitely have some trauma weaved in there, because I don't think that you get to the point of being morbidly obese without having some kind of issues in your life and emotionally. Because I know for me personally, a lot of the times that I was overeating, it was emotional eating. And I really want to make a video in itself about binge eating and my struggle with binge eating, because so many people don't realize that it's not as cut and dry as you think. Fat people aren't just fat because we eat too much. Like, we have other issues that are around that. So I kind of want to speak on that at some point. Okay, so I definitely increased my food and alcohol intake, and that was when 2017, 2018, 2019 is when my weight started creeping up about 10 to 15 pounds per year. So in 2017, I went up to 161 pounds. So you can see that my weight went from 145 to 161. And at that point, I was becoming really aware of it. Like, I was going to the gym a lot more, but I wasn't really changing my eating habits. I was still overeating. So I had what looked like a pretty fit body, but at the same time, there was still too much weight on it. And I even feel like I have that now because I work out like all the time, but I still feel like there's just too much weight on me. So I went from this point of being 132 to 161, and then slowly from 2017 to 2018, 2019, I started drinking a lot more and working out a lot less, and I got out of my routines, and I really stopped counting calories at all, honestly, for a long time, because I thought you need to heal yourself. You need to hit the reset button. I read a lot of books about intuitive eating, obsessive eating, binge eating, and I struggle with all of these things still. Even today, I still think about food like constantly. But I think that one thing that has helped me is realizing like food is not inherently good or bad. Food just is. And the way that you have all these connotations to it is sort of like the way that you're messing it up in your head. And I think that the more you think good food, bad food, the more that you tend to binge eat and overeat, because you're thinking, oh, now I'm eating something bad. I've ruined the whole day. I messed up my diet. I screwed up. This day's a wash. So I can be very guilty of feeling that way. One of the reasons that I made this video was because I got inspired by a couple of people on YouTube, one of which is a pretty new YouTuber, but her name is April Lauren, and she is on a journey to lose 200 pounds, as she'll tell you in all of her videos. I think she calls her videos or her channel Wake Up Bright, and she's just a ray of sunshine because she just tells you, all of the inner turmoil and the feelings, but she also is so positive about it, and I think that really led me to want to make this video, because I'm sort of like ashamed and embarrassed about how bad that I have gained all of this weight back and how bad my body looks, but at the same time I'm like, you're just a human, like this is just part of life. And I think that starting over is a chance to create things that are new and a chance to do it right this time. So and also, along with April Lauren, everyone on YouTube probably knows him, but Obese to Beast, John with Obese to Beast is like a great human, totally great human. And I've watched so many of his videos, I swear, like I can like literally turn on one like every single day because he has so many of them. But his videos have helped me, and just being able to look at the world in a way that, okay, you're not alone. Like this is not the only person who's ever gained their weight back. And gaining the weight back is, to me, in a way, it's harder to look at myself now than it was back then, because back then I had always been fat. And I've told this to my friend before, like I've said, I know what it's like to be thinner now. So it's hard for me to know to go back to being fat after being thin. It's kind of like I had tried on these cool new clothes and this cool new outfit, and then I had to go back and put on my old clothes again. And it's just really, I don't know, it's really mentally confusing. So you might be asking yourself, how do you gain 57 pounds and not realize what's happening? Well, obviously, I didn't intend for it to happen. I didn't gain all the weight back in 1 year. It was literally like 10 pounds 1 year, 15 pounds another year. And so I don't think it was something that I was really fully conscious of. My weight was creeping up, but I didn't feel like I looked that different until one day I looked in the mirror and I looked totally different. And now that I'm looking in the mirror, I'm seeing myself in such a different light. I don't hate myself anymore, and I feel like that's really what's gonna like lead me to do this journey correctly this time. In the past, when I dieted, it would come from a place of like self-hatred, and a lot of that can give you a lot of discipline. I listen to a lot of David Goggins, and I've read his book like 3 times, and you know, he does speak to some pretty harsh terms towards himself, and I think that can be useful. But in the same way, it's almost like you're like sabotaging the person that you are to become the person that you want to be. And you have to kind of love yourself in the moment that you're in. Like, you have to be like, okay, this is who I am today. This is not necessarily who I want to be, but this is who I am, and this is what I have to work with. So let me just work with this person and see what we can become tomorrow. I think if gaining all my weight back has taught me anything, it's that you can be on the right track, and then you can slowly get off, and you can derail yourself completely. And that is sort of what happened. I accomplished so much in the last 5 years, and I know that, you know, at the end of the day, like, my weight gain is not defining me, but at the same time, I'm ready to begin to work on it. So I think that, like, in 2020, my number one goal right now is to lose the weight. And I have sort of been almost sabotaging myself up until this point. And you guys can leave a comment if you think you've ever done this to yourself. I don't know that it's fully on a conscious level, but I feel like on some level, I sabotage myself by overeating and over drinking and things like that. And just telling myself, well, I can't lose the weight. It's too hard. I'm not good enough. Like, all of these things that in my head cause me to sabotage myself. But for the last 4 months, since I think about April 2020, whenever the pandemic started, me and my best friend have been working out like probably at least 4 times a week. But we have been working out and becoming sort of accountable to each other. And we began tracking calories again. And we started to sort of like slowly look at the way that we live our lives. And we've lost like a lot of inches off of our body, but like I've lost like hardly maybe 2 pounds since I started. My weight goes from like 189 to 186, 189, 186. So I know that I'm not eating what I'm supposed to be eating. So this video was also kind of a way for me to start saying like, okay, Bella, you know what you need to do. Like, why are you not doing it? And I think exploring some of this is kind of helping me see that like, okay, you are like, you're in a bad headspace. Like, you got to get out of this headspace. You guys probably saw a lot of my videos about being, having problems with alcohol, and I'm still having problems with alcohol, but I think that it's slowly starting to fade out. I feel like I'm less obsessive about it, but I also feel like I still lean on alcohol a lot, and I still lean on food. So I sort of have like, sort of almost like these crutches that are holding me up, but they're pulling me down at the same time. So it's really difficult when you have things like that you lean on. So we've been working out for about 4 months, and we've been lifting, we've been walking, we've been doing cardio, like dancing and things like that. And I feel like I'm in better shape than I've been in a long time, even though I haven't lost the pounds. I've lost a lot of fat around my midsection, and my body is starting to like tone up more. I'm starting to look more like I used to look. Even my face is starting to look less like squishy. So I'm hoping that, you know, in doing this, by the end of 2020, I will have lost some weight. It's hard for me to quantify how much weight I want to lose. I'm trying to be nice to myself, so it's a fine balance of saying like, okay, this is your goal versus, okay, any progress is progress. Like, if I start out the year at 189 and I end the year at 180, I think that that's still positive progress, because even though it's a really slow loss, it's still better than where I was at before, where I started the year at 189. So with that being said, if you have lost weight, gain weight, lost weight, gain weight, I think that you have to understand that like, it is so hard to keep the weight off and make a change. Like, it really does have to be a lifestyle change. I think when I was the most successful, it was when I was just craving the right foods, and I was not in a mindset where I could buy a bunch of junk food at the store, and I did not have that kind of food in my house. Like, that food was a treat. And so I want to get back to that point where I am a little bit more aware of what I'm putting in my body. And I think that that's also a good point towards intuitive eating, where you listen to your body when it really is hungry, not when you're eating out of like an emotional reason. I guess I'm going to wrap up this video with telling you that hopefully you enjoyed it and maybe you got something out of it. I just wanted you guys to know that you're not alone, and that it's very possible to gain your weight back. So be careful. If you have not gained your weight back, it's not out of the realm of possibility like I thought it was. But yeah, I'm going to start over. I'm just going to literally like start over. Like, today is the day. Like, I've started over so many times this year, and I'm so frustrated with myself, but I think that that's not helping me. Like, it's not helping me by continuing to focus on it. And I'm just going to have to just literally be like, okay, this is it. Like, today is the day. It's the August 15th, 2020, and I weigh like 188 pounds. So maybe I should do an update video for you guys, maybe in 2 weeks or a month or so, and I'll let you know where I'm at. But for now, my plan is to count calories. I'm not 100% sure how many I'm going to eat. I think I'm going to eat around 1,800 a day because I want it to be a pretty slow thing. In the past, when I felt like I was being deprived, I always binge ate at night because I felt like I didn't get enough during the day. So I'm trying to avoid that. And yeah, I think 30 minutes of exercise a day and 1,800 calories is going to be my goal for right now. But yeah, I'll catch you with an update soon. I have lots of other videos about food, fitness, and things like that on my channel. So if you don't want to miss any of it, just hit the subscribe button, hit the thumbs up, and thank you guys so much for watching.